Hey guys, Colin here from CH Gadgets. So I've been spending a lot of time with this thing and it's been a pretty interesting experience. So let's talk about it. But before we get into it, make sure you stick around till the end of this video because I got something I really want to ask. So one of the most striking thing about the Moto Edge is the endless edge display. And this is one of the most beautiful double-edged sword for a lot of people. And this is why. For the crowd who are saying, let's bring an end to all edgeless displays, they might find this one a little bit more annoying than most, since this edgelessness on this one is so extreme. But for the folks who don't mind going edgeless, they might find this one of their best experience on an Android phone. For scale, this is a 6.7-inch panel, and for visual impact, this is a very bright and vibrant Full HD 90Hz HDR10 OLED display with the glass wrapped nearly 90 degrees on both sides. Just imagine how crazy that looks in the palm of your hands. And I'm quite fascinated with how well it works too. And you won't get a good sense of how visually satisfying it can be until you actually get to hold one in your hand and watch a movie or a YouTube video on a smartphone with an edgeless display that wraps 90 degrees on the edge. But that fun factor comes with its own little sets of quirks. The display on this one leans closer to the cooler tones, which may or may not affect you if you're not into that old vibrant contrasty look. I've also heard reports that there's been display issues with this particular model, and since I've had mine, I've not had any issues with the display whatsoever. But one of my biggest concerns when I just saw this phone and I heard about it and I saw the curve on the edges was phantom touches. And that is also a big no for me, which is kind of surprising with how extreme the edges are. And this kind of lets you know that Motorola spent a lot of time working on this aspect so they can work out all the kinks and solve this problem. Now, while we're on the topic of display, another thing that really enhances your experience while watching movies and videos is the speaker, or maybe I should say the dual stereo speakers. And let me tell you, they sound really good. The highs and the mids has a nice little clarity and the bass sounds nice and punchy. Although it's not as punchy as I would like, but be realistic, it's a smartphone, so you can't expect subwoofer-like experience from this. However, my only other phone that I think sounds better with more bass or more clarity is maybe my LG Velvet, but definitely my LG V60. Another thing that I really like about the Edge is how smooth and fluid the OS and app switching is. And Motorola has been really generous to add 256 gigs of storage along with 6 gigs of RAM, and those two things combined with the Snapdragon 765 processor and the stack Android-like experience has been a real treat. Well, at least from my experience, it has never crashed or leave me hanging while waiting on an app to load. And I know Motorola probably didn't want to designate this one as a gaming phone, but this thing has a legit gaming mode that you can use to shut down almost all background operations while you're in a gaming session. You can block all calls or you can prioritize specific contacts. Talk about being in the zone. Another thing that I really like about this phone is how good the battery is. This thing can give you a full day with at least 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. And if you're a light user, then maybe you can get a full day and maybe a full day and a half, you know, going over into the next day. But just in case you're gaming all day and you manage to nuke the battery, this thing supports fast charge, so you can top up really quick. So here is the truth about the cameras on this phone. They are good, but not great. And I only say this because while the photos they take look good, there are phones out there in this same price class that take better photos out of the stock camera. But in the grand scheme of things, this phone does have a nice set of cameras. But why take my word for it? Check out these photos and tell me what you think down in the comment section. Let's go. It has a telephoto and an ultra wide lens, which is a really good combination for this price. But if you keep your expectations consistent with being realistic, you should be fine. But one of the biggest gripes for me personally is consistency, or maybe I should say inconsistency, because while I can get some really good photos from the main camera on this phone, most of the time, a lot of times I would have to take 2 or 3 additional shots in order to get a shot that I'm satisfied with. And maybe it's because I'm spoiled. Because I have way more capable smartphones such as the Pixel 5, LG V60, and the Huawei P40 Pro, which usually nail a shot on the first go. Or it could also mean that if I can get some really good photos from the camera on this thing, then that means the average person who doesn't have access to all those flagship smartphones would be more than satisfied with the photos that they get from this. So overall, this is a relatively good package, and I absolutely love the Endless Edge display. And the stereo speakers completes that immersive effect that they were going for. It has a beautiful, sleek design that will attract a lot of attention. But the real question is, do I recommend it though? Here's the answer. If you're watching this video, then you probably already bought this phone and you just want to know what other people out there is saying about it. Or if you're seriously thinking about buying it, you want to know for sure if you should. However, if you want my recommendation on a smartphone that has an even more beautiful design and an equally as beautiful Endless Edge curved display, then you should seriously consider the LG Velvet, because it has a way more capable camera and it's just an overall better package for the money in my opinion. So yes, I do recommend the Moto Edge, but only if you seriously consider all the little things and quirks that I mentioned before you click the buy button. But if you do consider them and you still go ahead and buy this one, then have no fear, because this is a really good smartphone and I really like it. By the way, if you want one for yourself, check the link down in the description. And also, I want you to stick around because I want you to do me a huge favor and click the like button on this video. It really helps the video. It really helps the video to go out to more people. And it also helps this channel to grow. And I'm down for growth, baby. Come on, help a brother out. Click the like button. Thanks for watching. It's your boy CH. I'll talk to you in my next video. Peace.